Welcome back. Brand new Friday review here. Can't wait to get into today's show. We've got a brand new book review to go over. The Courage to be Disliked. I'm going to share with you a form of psychology that I bet you haven't heard about before. I hadn't, even though I know the overall premise, I'd never heard about this, although this psychologist has been around since the time of Freud, as well as later proteges such as Carl Jung, etc. So we'll talk about that today, a brand new at-home lab test that will share with you one potential cause of your poor sleep. You'll want to check that one out, especially since it has a great price on it, the price of free. We'll go over that. We want to go over these things called PFAS, or forever chemicals, and how they're ending up in our food, what food specifically. I know you're going to do your best to avoid these specific ones. I'm going to give you a list, and then we're going to end with the debate, does running hurt or help your knees as you age? All right, so let's dive right into it. Before we get into the recap and the book review, the product reviews, and the research, just want to let you know that our community is beginning our spring detox on April 1st. Yes, April Fool's Day, but it's no joke. We are beginning our seasonal detox April 1st. That means this week we want to make sure we give you every opportunity to join along with us or gather together your friends, because you can get one functional medicine detox completely free by going to stephencabral.com/shop. Check it out. Every single quarter, we go through probably what's the most important thing that we do as a community. Every 12 weeks, we do a 7-day detox that incorporates intermittent fasting, specific meal planning, detox-based nutrients, and much more. It's most likely, for most people, going to be an absolute life-changing decision. If you're looking to improve your overall body, health, mind, sleep, hormones, blood sugar levels, I can't recommend enough. It's guaranteed results. That's the thing, is I always guarantee everything we do. I know it works. I know it's going to be a game changer for you, and hopefully you invite 2, 3, or 4 friends to do it along with you. Head on over to stephencabral.com/shop. Get one detox free while supplies last. All right, podcast recap from the week. This is on Monday's show is a great one. Would you pass the marshmallow test? If you've never heard about the marshmallow test before, and you're someone that struggled before with reaching your goals, I want to share with you that show. That was episode 2964. Episode 2965 was the mitochondria's connection to aging. So essentially, big longevity breakthrough. Why is it that some people can eat whatever they want? They can have alcohol, they can have whatever, and they still seem to live to 100 years old? The mitochondria just may explain that. So check out that show. That was episode 2965. Episode 2966 was the simplest way to help you lose weight. And it literally is the simplest way that anyone can do. And it's free. And you can check that out at episode 2967. Yesterday's show, 2968. Yesterday's show was 2968. The weight loss tip was episode 2966. The mitochondrial show was 2965, and the marshmallow test was 2964. Okay, so yesterday's show was the most important time to test your cortisol. We're gonna be talking about that lab test today, but check out yesterday's show, because I give you all the reasons why blood work isn't enough. Because blood work is never run before bed. They never test your cortisol levels before bed. They only test it at the time of running your blood work, which ideally, if you're running your blood work, is between 8 and 10 a.m. at the latest. So all you learn about is your morning cortisol. And most people's morning cortisol is perfectly normal. The problem is their bedtime cortisol is upside down. We'll talk about that. Check out yesterday's show. That was episode 2967. Today is episode 2968. All the links for today, including this book, The Courage to be Disliked, will be linked up there. All right, so what is the courage to be disliked? It is the Japanese phenomenon that shows you how to change your life and achieve real happiness. And I don't know if I would say that it's just the Japanese phenomenon, but let me share this with you. So there's a theory by Alfred Adler, one of the 3 giants of 19th century psychology alongside Freud and Jung, that follows essentially a dialogue. So it's basically 5 conversations with a young man that goes to we'll call it Adler, the philosopher that holds these principles in their mind. And it is from a skeptic's viewpoint, talking to, let's say, the guru on the mountaintop. And the skeptic gives every reason why all of this is untrue, it's all made up, that this form of psychology doesn't work. And then over those 5 conversations, you begin to see the pupil start to realize maybe the error of their ways. But the big difference I wanted to share with you with this book is that it's very different than a Jung and definitely different than Freud, Sigmund Freud. Why is that? Because in Freud, it really all goes back to childhood. And it goes back to traumas in childhood that lead us to who we are today. Where Adler says that's determinism, that isn't what happens, because we know that some things happen to some individuals, same exact things, and they turn out differently. So what could be different? Well, it's not that childhood doesn't matter, and it's not that those traumas don't matter. They do, anytime in life. It's how we respond to them, and it's what we then set up as our mindsets, and what he calls them, which I think is a little strange, it's goals, but it's actually teleology. It's a construct we set up in our brain in order to get the desired results. And even though anxiety and worry doesn't seem like it's that desired, it's what we've come to understand since childhood or since whatever the trauma happened. So then we create situations to stay in that state of anxiety. We create self-destructive behaviors that they talk about during the book that essentially enable us to get to that end goal, which is anxiety that we learned many, many years ago. So it's not that the past doesn't count. It's that we continue to bring the past forward with us each and every day. Because the past is the past. It's not today. Yet we bring it to today and with Adlerian-based psychology as part of our goals for who we want to be in the future. And if we decide to change who we want to be, we can begin then to let go of the past and choose a new version of ourselves. Now, there are many people who refute this, who don't believe it, and they don't want to hear this. And I think that there's parts of it where I say, listen, I'm not all in on Freud, and I'm definitely not all in on Adler. But I think that we need to know both. I really do. I believe that both are extremely important. I'm a huge fan of Carl Jung, like his work, his philosophy, and I study that. But some people just veer off in different directions. And I think they're both important to study. So as I was reading this book, I'm saying like the first half of it, I'm like, I've read this many, many times. I get it. This is like, I didn't love how the book was written, like a lot of it. I thought it was like confrontational. It wasn't my favorite read for the first half. And then it started to get better. And they started to share with this young man who became less confrontational, how he could improve his life. And I love that. So while I'm not 100% all in on Adlerian psychology, I do believe that it's nice to keep an open mind. And if you've studied Freud, we'll also study Adler as well. So this is The Courage to Be Disliked. It is not by Alfred Adler. It's by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing those names, but I did my best. And I'll link this up for you on that Amazon-based link. All right, so that's our book review of the week. This week, I want to share with you a product review. So I talked about this yesterday. Simple lab test. Anybody can run this. It's a saliva test. A child can run it, 3 years old and up, and any adult can run it. This is what it looks like. Bedtime Cortisol Test. Super simple. All of these lab tests by Equilife. It comes with an registration card. First thing you do when you get this lab is you register your lab online so you can actually get your results, and it's completely private, which means nobody gets these results. Not the insurance company, not your medical doctor, not your mom and dad, not your grandparents, not your kids, just you. So the lab that we process these through, they do the results. They send them through us, not even through paper, just through a completely secure API connection. So Equalife has the results and you have the results. That's it. But why this test is important is that it actually shows you if you have elevated levels of a stress hormone called cortisol at night. If that's elevated, it can lead to headaches. It can lead to inflammation. It can lead to poor deep sleep, poor REM sleep. It can lead to elevated levels of glucose overnight. And it's just not going to lead to rejuvenation and anti-aging or good night's sleep and energy. So why is that? Well, if you have high levels of cortisol at night, you're most likely not producing enough melatonin. And melatonin is a very powerful anti-cancer, and it's a very powerful anti-aging hormone. It's a powerful antioxidant. It boosts the immune system and so much more. So the only way to know if you have elevated cortisol is literally to test. That's it. Elevated level of cortisol at night, simple saliva test. You just spit into a tube of saliva. That's it, little tube that comes in it. You put it in a prepaid mailer the next day. You ship it to the lab. Within 3 weeks, you get your results. You know if you have high cortisol. If you do, we give you a plan that comes with the lab. You literally get a plan as to how to lower those cortisol levels, get back a great night's sleep, improve your energy, improve your inflammation, your glucose levels, and so much more. So this right here is free. It's literally part of my free labs program. My goal, if I was independently wealthy, if I had, all the money in the world, I would give away free labs to the whole world. That would be my charity. I'm not independently wealthy, maybe one day, but not independently wealthy. But what I can do is I've been giving away 100 free labs a month on me, literally on Equalife. We just pay for them to be shipped to you. This is a $129 lab. You get it completely free. So 100 people a month will get this free. I'm going to put the link here today at stevencabral.com/2968. Just head over to that page, click the link, and you'll be able to see if there are any free labs left this month. You can always purchase it over at stevencabral.com/shop. That takes you over to Equalife. And of course, you can purchase it there for $129. It's an amazing deal to find out you have high cortisol, but you can also get it for free for those 100 people. And if you want, you can also just go to stevencabral.com and you'll probably see a little tab there for first lab on me. So my goal is to give away as many free labs as I can. That is the charity that, I hate to say the word charity, but that is it's my life's mission. It's my life's work. I just believe that everybody's out there guessing. Everybody's trying different nutrition plans, different exercise plans, different supplements, different meditations, different whatever. When in reality, they don't know exactly what they should be working on, because if you don't test, you are really just guessing. And I hate to say it because I'm not trying to be condescending. Honestly, I'm not. But I just know from working with hundreds of thousands of people that if you pinpoint exactly what's wrong, then you can fix it literally almost overnight, definitely within 2 to 3 weeks. So anyway, I wanted to share this with you. Go to stevencabral.com right now, or just stevencabral.com/2968 for that exact test link. All right, let's go over our 2 research studies for the week. The first one, not all gloom and doom, but I have to share this with you because it's important. So I hope that you're not frequenting these places too often, but if you are, here's one more reason not to. Okay, so a little tongue in cheek. So many restaurant chains and supermarkets have pledged to reduce the use of products containing polyfluoroalkyl substances, also known as PFAS, PFAS. And those are called forever chemicals, meaning they don't break down. They stay in our environment forever. So here's a recent finding, and this was done by Consumer Reports, good old Consumer Reports. They tested 24 restaurant chains, including Arby's and Burger King and Nathan's Famous, et cetera, et cetera. They also looked at supermarket chains such as Kroger's, Stop and Shop, and Trader Joe's. And they looked at 118 products. So 24 different restaurant chains and supermarkets, over 118 different products. And they found unacceptably high levels of forever chemicals, the PFAS. And they found that these chemical bonds, which is used in the basically the wrappers. So when you look at this, it's like all the products that are in there, they've found that they make them, well, first of all, the PFAS are basically indestructible, hard to break down. And when you combine them with heat, they get very easily absorbed into the food. So let me read exact for you. The PFAS have strong chemical bonds that make them virtually indestructible. They also have grease-resistant properties, which is why they are used in food packaging. PFAS leach into foods, and they're linked to a growing list of health issues, including immune problems, potentially cancer, low birth weights, and more. So as if we didn't need more reasons as to why cancer is continuing to grow and become the number one cause of mortality. 1 out of every 2 people, essentially. It's deplorable, it's horrible, and we need to just do our best. So here's what I want to share with you. All of these wrappers, if you see a fast food-based product and it's made ahead of time and it's sitting in a heater and it's wrapped in a grease-resistant wrapper, you know the ones with like the foil on the outside and the white on the inside, or they could just be what almost looks like wax paper, but it's not. All of those typically contain the PFAS. If you see those, it's one more reason not to get it. One more reason besides all the nasty hydrogenated fats and oils and all of those things. You don't need that in your body, right? Tons of calories, etc. But now it's these forever chemicals, these toxins. People said there were no such thing as toxins, years ago. Oh no, those toxins have already existed. It's the media and it's these companies that want you to look the other way. They tell conventional medicine doctors and some PhDs, etc., that it's like, no, downplay that. Don't talk about toxins. Pretend like all those people are crazy. No, they're not. These are the things leading to cancer, leading to infertility, leading to birth-based defects. We don't need these things in our society. So it's not like I don't think that you can grab a, food and sandwich and whatever every once in a while. I'm not saying that, but try to look for the ones that aren't wrapped in these wrappers that make it that much worse. All right. So that's one research study for today. The second one is this, the debate. Does running harm your knees, especially as you get older, or does it protect them? This study was done on 2,637 adults. Average age was 64 years old. It was done by Baylor College of Medicine in Houston and published in Arthritis Care Research. Here's what they found. Current and former runners had less knee pain and fewer symptoms and less radiographic evidence of osteoarthritis than non-runners. The possible reason maybe is that runners have lower body weights on average, which puts less stress on the knee joints over time. Maybe. It's a good hypothesis. Or there's another hypothesis that I want to share. Runners, and there's a huge caveat to this, is that you're using good form. We'll talk about that in just a second. But anything that you do over time strengthens that area of the body or mind, right? So if you meditate every day at 7 a.m., it's easier to meditate every day at 7 a.m. You get in that habit. You work that meditation muscle, right? If you get up or you get used to getting to bed at 9 p.m. Every single night, it gets easier over time. Your body gets used to it. Well, running hard in the beginning, then a little bit easier, then a little bit easier, and your body adapts. How does it adapt? It becomes stronger. Literally, how do you pick up weights every day? Your hands become calloused. And all of that leads to a stronger body over time. Now, I put in that big caveat because if you run with poor form, and I saw this very much during my personal training days and strength and conditioning days, for many people, the femur rotates in because of tight hip flexors and weak hip extensors, your glutes, namely your hamstrings. And the foot rotates out for many people due to tight gastrocnemius, your calf, your soleus, etc. So what happens is we get a shearing force on the knee, which leads to patellofemoral issues, pain on the inside of the knee, and it can lead to meniscus issues. So I would say that your knees don't get better from running over time unless you're using proper form. And if you use proper form, then yes, it can improve body. There's no doubt about that. It can improve the strength of the knees, the muscles holding the joints and everything in place, and much more. So make sure that the body is in good working condition. Make sure it's in good biomechanical alignment. You can always see a running practitioner near you. They exist basically in every major city. They can look at your form, make sure you're running properly, that you're going to be injury-free, and it can lead to then good, strong, healthy joints over a lifetime. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning into today's show. To get that book review today, to check out last week's shows, or to get your bedtime cortisol test or the research from today, head on over to stephencabral.com/2968. stephencabral.com/2968 is today's show. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.